My name is Dr. Nicole Porter. I am the Interim Vice President of Student Services and Equity. That is a position I get to proudly serve for American River College, and I'm privileged to be your speaker for this month. I always loved teaching. Even as a small child, I would put the stuffed animals, line them up as if I was going to teach them. But I was always the babysitter when I grew up. Even at a young age, I had a responsibility of caring for children, for small children. I can remember one New Year's Eve, me watching at least 12 children. I was a designated babysitter. So at any time, from 6 weeks old to 10, 11, 12, and education was always key. So I love teaching. I love facilitating learning. I love to see when people learn something new and how they light up when they get it, right? And they can run with it. So my major was communication disorders. I began to work with adults that had different abilities, even in college and even in high school. I was a student at those portables that were way at the other end of the campus, working with students who had different abilities. And so when they saw us on campus or they'd come to the cafeteria, right, they would run up to me and hug me, and my colleagues, my other peers would be like, how do you even know these students, right? And I'm like, these students, you should come visit. Right, you should come visit. They just have different abilities. And so I fell in love with working with those who had different abilities. I joke with people, I was like, I think my mom told me I was going to college even before I was even born, right? In vitro, she'd be like, you're going to college, right? I was the first and the only one, right? The only one that has their doctorate right now. Education was always the driving point with our family. They really pushed, you're going to school, doing well in school. We want you to have further education that we might not have been able to access or obtain. I think I had support, right? My husband, we didn't live near family members, so it was just the two of us, right? We joke about that. It's like we really had to rely on each other. We grew up together, and he always encouraged me. I don't think I sat back and reflected on how hard it was. We just had to do it. But you know, one of the things I did even in undergraduate is I was part of a sorority. Being part of that talks about community, right? And a sisterhood. So you got to find whatever your network is, or what I call safe support. You need those group of people who will cheer you on even when you're tired, you're sad. And don't get me wrong, there was many nights where I took statistics and I cried. Right, I literally cried. Like I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Right, it's like, no, but you got to get this done. Sometimes it's easy to be in your own little world and have you. Right, I raised children. I was married. I still tried to find community involvement. I had great people from the community that you get to grow up with. But in order for you to grow as an individual, you need to reach out. I feel like we have a lot of history months, right? Black history, women's history, right? Hispanic history, Native American, and I would try to do that throughout the year. While that month was definitely for particular times for us to take some really focused time on that, and I also would try to remember as like, so women didn't just do things in 1 month, right? We do things 12 months out of the year. As your family members do too. And so what does that look like? But then also the women in your family. I thought about wearing it today, but I didn't want to wear black because they're like, don't wear black, we're a great color, right? We're a vibrant color. And on this t-shirt that I have, it's the names of the women who came before me. So it's my mom, she's still here, an aunt that I had who passed away, a cousin who I had who passed away, my mother-in-law who passed away, my grandmother, and then my grandmother's mother. And so I think about the things that they had to go through in order for me to get to sit here, and how powerful that is, because they had to do a lot in order for me to have the honor and the privilege. So I never take it for granted, because I know how hard they had to work in the generations that they had to come up in. I think about that every time I'm in front of students or having a conversation with somebody, even if it's a hard conversation, never forgetting the impact that they had, what they had to go through in order for me to be sitting here even with you today.